This video is all about how to go from moles to molecules or to volume. You should already know how to go to mass or grams, so I'm going to be using some of that information here. So for molecules, atoms, and particles, those are all, we're just going to kind of put them all in the same category of little tiny things we can't really see. They are different, but we're just going to put them in the same category for now. So how do you go from moles to molecules or atoms or particles? You're going to use what's called Avogadro's number. And yes, it's Avogadro. Kind of sounds like avocado. And this number is very famous. It's 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. Now that is a huge number, and I'm putting it in parentheses. You should always put this number in parentheses. It might mess up your order of operations if you don't. Okay, so 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd in parentheses. So let's look at some examples. If I have 4.3 moles of nitrogen, that is how many molecules of nitrogen? So very similar to the mass examples that I did before. It's 4.3 moles of nitrogen. Make a little box. Diagonal will match. So we put moles of nitrogen on the bottom. And we want molecules, so molecules goes on top. Now, if we remember from before, 1 always goes with the mole, and that is still relevant and will be relevant in all of our questions. So 1 is going to go on the bottom because that's where the mole is. And then in parentheses, we're going to put 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd on top because that goes with our molecules. Okay, so we're going to take 4.3 times 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. You should be using a scientific calculator with this. And your final answer should be 2.59 times 10 to the 24th. And that's how many molecules are going to be. These numbers should be huge because molecules are really, really small. And just a quick reminder, on your calculator, if you see that capital E or lowercase e, that just means times 10 to the exponent. Okay, so make sure you write your answers in scientific notation. All right, let's look at the second example. This one will be going from 2.34 times 10 to the 21st atoms of some iron. And we want to know how many moles is that going to be. So again, if you're using atoms, particles, or molecules, those all are kind of in the same category for these equations. So we're going to take 2.34 times 10 to the 21st atoms, make a little box. Make sure you put the times 10 numbers in parentheses. It'll really help you. If you get an answer that's like to the 44th power, that means you did not use parentheses. So 1 on top, because that's where the mole is. And then also in parentheses on your calculator, 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. Okay, if you do not use parentheses, you will not get the correct answer. Okay, do 2.34 times 10 to the 21st in parentheses, and then divide by 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd, also in parentheses. Okay, so remember, going down, we're going to divide with this box. So we're going to get 0.0039 moles. Your calculator might have also put it in scientific notation, which would be 3.9 times 10 to the negative third. So if you get that, those are the same answer. Okay, so now we're going to look at volume here. So how do you go from volume to moles or moles to volume? We're going to use a constant, which is 22.4 liters. Okay, so volume is measured in liters. You just use 22.4 there. Okay, so we're going to do 2 examples of this volume. So we have 2.38 moles of argon is equal to how many liters of argon, or what is the volume of argon? Okay, so we have 2.38 moles of argon. Diagonal matches, so we get moles of argon on the bottom. And we want liters of argon. So we're going to put a 1 for the mole. Again, 1 always goes with the mole for every kind of problem, for mass, for volume, and for molecules. So for liters, you're always going to use 22.4. So we're just going to multiply 2.38 times 22.4. And that's going to give us 53.312 liters of argon. All right, so last example here. If we have 642 liters of nitrogen gas, that is how many moles of nitrogen gas? So you always start with the question gives you. So we have 642 liters. Diagonal matches, liters on the bottom, moles on top. 1 goes with the mole, and anytime you have liters, you use 22.4. So we're going to take 642 divided by 22.4. So our final answer is going to be 28.67 moles. And that is how you go from molecules to moles or moles to volume.